Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Always a pleasure. The returning Gareth A. Davies back from Los Angeles from what looked like an incredible week, incredible fight night, concerts with Eminem, and some terrific fights on the card, Gareth.
Yeah, it was. It was an incredible event, one of the biggest I've ever attended. Not least the star power on the card, and then the star power all week, really, around the Fight Hotel, overwhelming the number of people there. Just a flavour of it, catching up with Don King's number two, Doc Holliday, a guy I've known a long time. Hassim Rahman playing Connect Four, Terence Crawford's mum and dad being there, and obviously his mum being very seminal in his early story where she used to beat him with a cord and all sorts. He's told those stories. Mm-hmm. Eddie Hearn in his element. Yeah. First Riyadh season card, iconic because it was Santa Monica Pier for the workouts and a little 3-fight card. And then we're in Hollywood for the press conference. The stadium was extraordinary. I mean, it felt so much more than 20,000, 23,000 in there because of the shape of the thing.
It looks huge.
It did look huge. And when you think Wembley's 5 times the size almost in terms of crowd, it really did feel replete with fans and very, very busy. And then obviously there was massive star power with Alicia Keys and Eminem and all these musical artists, Scottie Pippen, the basketball player of the Chicago Bulls, and so it was an amazing night, and the fights were extraordinary. Not least the main event, which was kind of a masterclass in patience and boxing skills, really, which I found very close.
I was going to say, let's start with the main event. Terence Crawford making a step up in weight against Israil Madrimov, who coming off a great victory in Saudi Arabia. I remember that. I was there for that fight, spoke to him after that, and it was a test for Terence, and it was very close. How did you see it from where you were? Because I know Eddie was put something up about the scorecard saying, he didn't feel like the champion really had the respect, but ultimately it's how you score it.
At the post-fight press conference, he said that he kind of retracted that slightly and said that he thought it was 116, 112 on 2 cards, rather than 115, 113 on 2 cards and 160, 112 on the other. I had it 115, 114 to Crawford. I gave the first round a 10-10. I just couldn't separate them in the first round. There was very little action. I gave 5 rounds to Madrimov and 6 to Crawford. I had Crawford winning that last round. I had them 105 each on points going into the 12th round. I thought it was very close. They're both very patient with each other. There weren't lots of exchanges. There was great footwork and movement. No, I think the right guy won, but I do think it was very close. I couldn't have seen Madrimov winning it. Mm-hmm. I could have seen a draw if you'd given him the first round.
Does what you've seen on Saturday change your mind or thoughts about a potential Canelo matchup?
Yeah, I was wrong. Crawford should not fight Canelo. A 6th weight class climbing from lightweight is too much at the very, very elite pound-for-pound level. I think I was wrong in calling Crawford to fight Canelo. I just think the size difference will be too big. The power difference will be too big. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but I think I was wrong about having it as a fantasy fight. It's a little bit, I put it in the same category as saying I want to see Naoya Inoue against Gervonta Davis.
Yes.
It's just too big a weight. It's one weight division too far. If Canelo and Crawford could have been at middleweight some time ago, then I think it would have been doable.
I think it's one of them. It's one of them scenarios where boxing is just allowing us to dream at the minute, because we are in, like, yourself, you've been around the sport 30+ years. Myself only like 3 or 4, but we're in a period now where we're getting these big fights, and it doesn't seem out the realms of a possibility. And we still may see Canelo or Crawford, and it may be a terrific fight, but it allows you to think that, doesn't it? That because we're seeing these fights.
Definitely, but I think almost overnight we've heard from His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. Let's remember it was the Riyadh season,
Yeah.
Saudi Arabian card, the first one they've done outside Saudi Arabia. I hasten to add, I know we've got Wembley Stadium coming up on September the 21st. Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois as the headliner, but I think he's even seen the sense in it. HE has seen the sense in it.
Yeah.
And it may be too much. And he's put a statement out saying he's not that interested in it anymore, even though yesterday Canelo was asking for 150 million US dollars for that fight.
Canelo said in an interview, I watched catching up with all the Belanga stuff, and he said, easy money. He said, they just need to pay me money, easy money. But Canelo's Canelo. He's always maintained that from that standpoint of what do I really get out of it? Obviously, I have to be paid kind of thing, but is he going to get credit for beating up someone who's
No,
come from that low?
not now.
I don't think he is now.
Let's not take anything away from Israil Madrimov either, by the way.
100%.
He's a very accomplished boxer, 300 amateur fights, an amazing career already as a pro. Took Crawford to the limit. I wouldn't mind a rematch between them. I think it would be a more fascinating match second time around. I think they would go at it a bit more. They could end up making each other's names. But it wouldn't surprise me now to see Crawford fight someone like a Boots Ennis.
Yeah, I think it opens the door for that. Immediately after the fight, I thought, well, one door closes, but look, the one at the natural weight, or even tiny bit higher than welterweight, that for me is a banger of a fight. In terms of the undercard, a lot of stories. I think many people's eyes stand out. Martin Bakole, he'd been waiting for his opportunity, waiting, and look, fair play to Jared Anderson. He wanted to step up as well. He got it, maybe a fight too soon, a couple of fights too soon, but ultimately we're in that realm now of you've got an opportunity. Do you want to go take it? And he came up short. He'll come again. But Martin Bakole, just touch on him for us for a minute.
Absolutely. Bakole is one of those guys that leaves his huge paw prints, his huge glove prints in the heavy bag in a big dent. He left a big dent in the hopes of Jared Anderson, the big American hope at the moment in the heavyweight division, kind of splundered and destroyed all his hopes in the heavyweight division, certainly for now. It's hard to see him coming back from that. He is quite George Foreman-esque, and I think some people have already made that comparison. And I remember thinking at the time, this is what George Foreman used to do. Big, powerful, takes a punch, going to walk you down, and he's going to stand in front of you like a big tractor, letting his hands go, a big juggernaut letting his hands go. And Jared Anderson had no answer. He was doing the right thing by fighting back because it just quelled Bakole for a little bit, but he would not be denied the big Congolese out of Scotland. And I was delighted for Nelson as well. And it was understandable, his emotion afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Billy's talked a lot about Martin, and we've always wanted to see sort of the words come to fruition, and he got his opportunity and he took it with both hands. Looking forward to see him in there now. I spoke to Sam Jones and he says, I want to see Martin Bakole and Zhile Zhang go at it. That would be an incredible fight, wouldn't it, while it lasted?
Lifesaver. There are so many great matchups. I was just pulling it up. I'm delighted to see that he's number one ranked with the WBA now.
Yeah.
Where is he? He's also highly ranked with WBC at 7.
Mm-hmm.
You could put him in now with any of the top 7 heavyweights. Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Zhang, Joe Parker, Daniel Dubois. They're all really good fights.
100%.
We know that he's going to deliver. You know what he's going to do. He may not beat them all, but he deserves his moment in the big time, in the big lights now. Like you say, his was a big standout moment because that was Jared Anderson at home. I'd pick Jared Anderson to step out in this fight and really show what he was worth. But that fight now against Charles Martin a couple of fights back actually showed something that Anderson may struggle at the very top level, at the elite level in the heavyweight division. He's got time to come back.
Yeah.
But he's got to work on things. He's got to work on speed, defense, and strategy for someone like a Bakole, for the bigger heavyweights who are gonna walk him down now. That's what they'll try and do.
Yeah, 100%. Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller. Now, I was coming back from Barnsley and was editing and watched that fight. Andy Ruiz's hand at the end of that fight, he said that happened to him round 5. If he has fought the rest of that like that, that makes his performance, regardless whether you thought he won, lost or drawn, even more incredible.
It did. His hand looked terrible afterwards. I mean, there were pictures of it. It really looked misshapen and contorted. I thought Miller won by 2 or 3 rounds, if I'm honest. Yeah. I watched the fight intently. Jarrell Miller never let up. Yes, Andy Ruiz countered. I thought he fought the wrong fight. It's like 2 immovable sofas colliding the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're both very comfortable physically at being very big men. But I thought it helped Jared that he'd lost 45 pounds going into this contest.
Yeah.
3.5 stone. And I think, to be fair, he was the aggressor almost the whole night. He always brought it. I didn't think it was going to go 12 rounds, but indeed it did. But like you say, you've got to praise Andy Ruiz for his kind of valiance and courage to keep going with that broken hand. But I thought Jarrell Miller deserved it. The great thing for both of them is it was a fun fight. It was always a fun fight in the build-up. It was a fun fight to watch. And they'll both get matchups out of this. Ruiz has definitely got something left.
Yeah, 100%. Just sort of moving away from this card, I don't know, because I know you've not been back in the country long. I don't know what you've been catching up with. With a new British champion in Callum Simpson, an incredible noise, I have to say, in Barnsley. Referenced it the other day, 7,000 fans sounding more like 30,000 or 40.
Was that outdoors? Was that outdoors as well?
Outdoors.
Yeah, I saw clips. It looked great.
It was 1 week before the football season, so Barnsley showed a lot of faith, saying, look, we'll do it. And I think they were trying to get another stand because Callum will sell 2 stands. And they just goes, look, we're doing this as a bit of a good faith thing kind of thing. So, yeah, new British champion and an exciting addition, especially in British boxing now.
Yeah. And Zach Chelly is a guy that gives everything as well. So I thought it was a formidable victory. I've always had time for Callum Simpson. I think he's the complete package. He can box, he's got skills, he's athletic, he's handsome, he says the right things, he dresses well. Him and his girlfriend, I'd always love meeting them at ringside, or his wife or fiance.
Yeah.
He's always very helpful with the media. I've interviewed him several times, both on air and off air. I just think he's got everything. If he wants to go right to the top, he really can, and I think he's in a great weight division. He's a big fella as well at the weight,
yes.
And I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
100%. Last one from me. So I know you're off at 1/2 just quickly. Sandy Ryan, Mikaela May has been made. Good fight, I think for that division. Very good fight in New York on a top rank card.
Yeah, absolutely. Sandy Ryan's going places. We know that about her. Mikaela May is always game. She's been a standout in the top ranked stable for a long time. Sandy's fight to lose, in my view, that one. But Mikaela is very, very ambitious. It's good you've told me about that because I hadn't actually caught up with that one. But other matchups that I'd like to see. I mean, I imagine, when is that, in September?
Yeah, I think so. I've not got the date in front of me. It only got announced last night, but yeah, in September.
I wonder if Jared Anderson's going to come back on that card as well, because he needs to come back fast and get back on the horse. I mean, he wasn't desperately hurt, but he just couldn't recover from those knockdowns from Bakole. 5th round, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It's a great time at the moment. We build now. I think it was great success in Los Angeles. I'm so pleased I went, because it really felt like America's putting big boxing on the map again. And it'll encourage and it'll stimulate. That's the great thing about it.
Yeah, 100%. Gareth, I appreciate you giving us a bit of a catch up from your time out there in LA. It looked incredible. And roll on the next fight week. When is the next fight week? It seems like there's a lot of gaps at the minute.
The next fight week, I can't think right now. I'm still hours because I slept the day and just got up about 2 a.m, and I'm just getting over the jet lag now. So I'll see you soon. Put it that way.
You will do. Gareth, appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Always a pleasure. Cheers, lifesaver.
No problem.